Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Carmela's Wrestling Radio Relived. This is episode 120. What, Jeannie? Seven.
127.
Seven. And I've named it Bled Dry. And I've named it Bled Dry for a very, very good reason. This show is going to be all about the documentary, or as Paul would say, the documentary that we're going to go see on Sunday for the TWA. This is a super good show. I'm really excited about this show. We have a full panel. We're going to have 10 people by the middle of this thing. So we're going to talk about everything. We're excited. We're going to do all kinds of stuff. Before we go, I just want to say very, very quickly that we miss our dear Rich Schwartz. He isn't here tonight because there wasn't an 11 spot. So we had to boot him a little bit. But Rich, we miss you and we love you. And you'll be here next week. Next week, we have Mike Ferreira. And he's going to be on as our guest fan.
Oh, cool. Okay,
yeah, and Bay Ragney is going to be on as well. So cool. Did you get the email today? I sent our July and one of August to you. And
I might have. I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't check yet.
Okay, so without any further ado, let's bring on the guy this is all about.
Yes.
Let's bring on Joel Goodhart. Hey, Joel, how you doing?
Hey, it's not all about me. Trust me, it's not about me.
Well, it's a lot about you, because if it wasn't for you, it wouldn't be about anybody else. So
if it wasn't with all the guys that are going to be on, there would be no me. So
okay.
It is what it is.
Share the load. How's that?
Okay.
All right, let's get everybody on. Okay, we're going to have Joe Zanoli. Here he is. Hi, Joe. How you doing?
Hey, guys. How are you doing?
Good. Okay, we have Ernie.
Hey, everyone.
We're going to call you Ernie Benfica. That's your real name, but
Ernesto Benfica.
Ernesto.
Hi, thank you very much for having me, Carmel.
Oh, please. Thank you for being here. We're going to have Tony Stetson. Hi, how are you?
Hey, everybody. Hi.
Oh, I want to say something about Tony. No, I'm not. I'm only kidding.
Don't do it.
Okay, we got Johnny Hotbody. Long time no see. How you doing, baby boy? How you doing, Johnny?
Hello, everyone. I can't hear anyone. I'm going to go out and come back in.
Okay. And then right now, last but not least, one of my favorite people in the world, Glenn Osborne. Hi, sweetheart. How are you?
Hey, Carm. How's everybody doing? It's good to see everybody today.
Good. We're all good. We're all good. Right now, we
good.
have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Johnny Hotbody's going to be 8. And then we have 2 more people coming on. We're going to have a full panel of 10. And I'm very, 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 very excited about this. So let's start talking. Joel, what gave you the idea of the TWA? Let's start. We'll just jump around, but we'll start with that first.
Well, this all started way back when I started. You and I started doing promotions. We had a company called Saroma at the time.
Here now.
And we did some shows, and then we did some private shows, and then one thing led to the other. And I went my separate way, and you went your separate way. And I just did more shows at Temple University. And I had a brain fart. Let's call it what it is. I just said, you know what? Let's try to organize this in a way. We had been down to Memphis a number of times, and I love the idea of the regions. I love the idea of the territories. Well, guess what? We can create a territory. And I was always the one who believed in truth in advertising. So I'm only going to do shows in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware. So there you go, the Tri-State Wrestling Alliance. And at the time, the TWA Alliance had folded, and I said, that's perfect. The initials are good, TWA. As it turned out, we only did one show in Maryland, but basically we ran all of our shows in those 3 states. So we created the TWA, and I give all the credit in the world to Bill Apter for giving us all the credibility, because we were doing shows at Temple, and I wound up getting a belt made, long story short on that one. But I announced the belt from the middle of the ring. And as I was walking out of the ring, literally, this is on video, so you can see it on Google or YouTube. As I'm walking down the steps from the ring, Bill Apter comes up to me and basically says, I'm paraphrasing, PWI is going to recognize the TWA in its magazine. That gave us instant credibility. That's why I tell a lot of stories about both Bill Apter and George Napolitano and all the photographers that worked our shows, Mike Lano from California, et cetera, et cetera. They created a lot of what became the TWA. So the TWA was created from a brain fart. That's exactly what it was.
Cool. That's very cool. Well, I think too, when we were all together, you and Paul and I, you and Paul and me, when we were all together, I think that the Abdullah and Bruiser Brody match, I think back then was the start of all this crazy stuff. And you took it to a next level, of course. You know, you took it to the extreme, and you took it beyond where it was going to go. You took it beyond ECW. You took it beyond. And I think personally, in my opinion, and you guys can jump in if you want, my opinion is that the wrong people got the credit for the crazy wrestling and the blood and guts and all that stuff. That's my opinion. I am very opinionated, and anybody who knows me knows that I will never stop giving my opinion. But I don't know. I think that TWA should be credited with a whole lot more than ECW. But that's just how I feel. How do you guys feel about all that?
Definitely. Because like everyone said about ECW too, TWA had amazing wrestling too. I mean, there was something for everybody on the cards. Joel brought in the best, and I don't know. It just seemed like it is deeper than just what ECW what came after. Yeah.
And that's the thing. ECW, right? I'm not mistaken, came after. You're right. But here's the thing. I believe they picked up on what Joel did, or what Joel started, and what we had done before Joel, and just ran with it their way, And since everybody was already hyped up with seeing the crazy matches and the talent and the blood and guts and all that stuff, they just went with it. So it's kind of like hopping from one horse onto a bigger horse, which I don't think it's fair. That's just how I feel about it.
Well, the one thing that made TWA what it was the radio show. Okay, all TV is what TV is. The radio show, I think everybody got up on Saturday morning, listened to the program. When we started running shows at Temple University, we were able to draw 600 to 800 people for an independent card, which even today is a lot. Okay. But it was the radio show. It was expensive, but it got us on the map. And then by bringing the talent that we brought in, look, keep in mind, and I say this all the time, the top names got us the Billboard. But if it wasn't for the Glenn Osbornes and the Tony Stetsons and the Johnny Hotbodies, none of this would have mattered. Nobody today, very few people, talk about Cactus against Eddie Gilbert. It comes up. Okay? They talk about Abdul and the Sheik. It comes up. But they still talk about Drake and Winters. They still talk with love about Hotbody and Stetson, and both those guys are on here. Mm-hmm. Okay, the feuds that we created is just amazing. And yes, we'll never get the credit. Part of that is our fault. Okay, we didn't lay claim to being keep in mind something. TWA didn't create anything. We created it with Seroma. But before Seroma, it was Memphis. Before Memphis, it was World Class. Before it was World Class, it was Georgia. The territories were alive and well. All I did basically was brought a little of this from here, a little of this from here, and I brought all the territories into one building. That was expensive as hell. I flew them all in. But that's what made it work. But I'm telling you, it's the guys on the screen right now that made the TWA what it is today.
Joe, what really made it work was at that time, everyone was gimmicky. It was more a cartoon era, more slanted to the children from Hulk Hogan or Hulkamania, whatever you want to call it. That style of wrestling was big in this area. What you bring was the Memphis style, and just gave us the chance to run a little bit different and work harder, because quite seriously, I know Tony and Glenn and everyone else on that card that was local, we were working to be seen by the WWF. Chances were NWA wasn't a real opportunity other than, working for $35 a night, which I did, but you have to think what Tony and all the other guys, Drake, Larry, we just worked harder, and unfortunately we didn't work smarter. And the only reason why we weren't more over was, first of all, I wanted to strangle Paulie in the back of the dressing room. I damn near had to have Cactus Jack and everyone else stop me from strangling that that freaking prick. But you know what really happened was it was your fault, Joel, because you got, you know, you were losing money and you stepped back. And when you stepped back, you had a snake in the locker room like Paul, and he just walked on the territory that we opened. You know, every one of us that worked for you, we gave our heart for it because we trusted you, we loved you, you know, and you didn't lie. And of course, you paid us. Truthfully, you could have paid us the way you paid them guys, but you know that's not an argument for, you know, them guys had name value. But also, if it wasn't for you, Cactus Jack would probably be eating popcorn in a movie theater and cleaning aisles. He wasn't going to be seen anywhere if you didn't give him that opportunity. And as far as Cactus Crackhead, Eddie Gilbert goes, Eddie Gilbert was fortunate enough for you to give him a job also, because everybody knew he was a junkie and he burnt everywhere he went. So, you know, if you didn't lay back and let Paulie do what he did, you know, there never would have been an ECW. And it wasn't for an interview that we said that we were too extreme for the WWF and for the NWA anyway, and we were doing our own thing. I was one of the ones that said it in the interview first, and then you had that idiot Shane Douglas come along and cut the same interview that I did.
How do you feel about that, Joel? Do you agree with that?
Well, I'll tell you, it's part. Look, I still say you can talk about any promotion. It's the talent that made the show. Okay, yeah, I'll take some credit for putting it together and coming up with a couple ideas. But to be honest, I remember, again, going back, you mentioned Abdullah against Bruiser Brody when we had it at Valley Forge Convention Center. I remember in the back, and the guy said to me, "What do we want?" And I said, and you concur with that, you said, just go rip up the building, have a ball. Well, they wound up giving us, we got a bill from the Valley Forge Sheraton for $2,800 for broken furniture. Now, this was back in '86. Okay, that's when
that would have been like $10,000 today or more.
They went out and they just ripped the place up. Now, these guys will tell you, anytime they spoke to me in the back, which was not that often, I just told them, go out and do it. Go out. You're the professionals. Just go out. I don't want to call a match. I'm not a guy that worries about that. Go do your thing. Okay, Larry obviously got involved with the booking of the match. But when Tony and Hot Body would come to me, just go. Have a ball. We had a City of Brotherly Hate match. Yeah, that was my little gimmick of a phrase. I stole from somebody. Okay? But we had a City of Brotherly Hate match. To this day, I still watch that match. It's still one of my most favorite matches 35 years later. The match is phenomenal.
It's all Tony's fault.
Everything's my fault.
Tony really what Tony, you're here, and I'm going to say it, man. It's a shame you didn't go further, but you remember me in that locker room telling you what they were doing to us guys. They were going to job. They were going to use us because, quite seriously, Joel made a name for us guys, gave us the opportunity to make a name for ourselves. We took that and we did it. And then, you know, the rest is history, man. Yeah.
100%. Blood and guts. You guys brought it.
Tony, how do you feel about all this that Johnny's talking about?
Oh, that's 100% true. When Paulie first took over the book in ECW, I remember it like it was yesterday. Me and Johnny are sitting on this little bench. He comes up to me, he says, "Let me tell you, you two guys will always, as long as I'm running the show here, you guys will always have a job because it's what you two started and created is where it's taken us in the direction it was."
And I told Tony I smell shit. And I told Tony I smell shit.
Yeah, and did it actually come to happen, Tony?
Yeah, we both wound up being out.
That's what I'm saying. He screwed you.
He screwed us both over.
Wow. And he promised you that he would take care of you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And how do you... Go ahead. Finish.
Wait. Here's my take. I mean, I was bitter for years. I always loved doing what I did in the ring, but it was that backstage nonsense. Never with Joel's.
Yep.
With ECW. I'll never forget the last time I walked into that ECW arena. aside from last year. And I went up to Paulie. They made me the Broad Street Bully with this Flyers gimmick. I didn't care what they did with me. I go up to him. I says, Paul, what do you got for me? I got nothing for you. And I said to him, I said, you were the one who told me and Johnny we'd always have a job here. So then I go sit and talk. And I told the story before. I was talking to Todd, and then here comes Tommy Dreamer. Oh, Tom, what do you got? Fresh gigs? I said, no, Tommy, this is when I bled for this company for nothing. You're the reason why we're here. It's what you're, how do they say it?
If it wasn't for you guys,
none of us would be here. It's what you guys created. I said, so you feel that way, Tommy? Absolutely. Everybody in this locker room does. And I said, do something for me. He shrugged his shoulders and said, what can I do? And you know what? And Tommy, when me and Johnny were working for other promotions, ripping the shit out of each other. Sorry, my French, being a Christian.
That's all right.
He was coming out in these pink boas like a flaming fag. Pardon me for that too. Anyway, but then he was a guy who never was hardcore. Now he was the hardcore icon or whatever the frig he is.
Yeah.
Every time I would see after what we did, what we created, when I would see guys in all these promotions, even to this day, whenever I see people going through the stands, it makes my blood boil because that's what we did. Because when Joe started his stuff, I was a little bit ahead of these guys, not DC and Larry, but so I had worked for other promotions, and every other promotion in the area at that time, you can't do this, you can't do that, don't go out the ring, don't do this, don't do that. So when Joel gave us free ride, we just went with it, and we created it. Not created it, we created it up here, because this was going on forever.
Right.
I mean, nobody
we opened the doors, Tony.
Abby and Brody don't go out the ring. And for the longest time, I felt, and people have told me this, that me and Johnny picked up where Abby and Brody left off.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I've seen matches with you too. I do. Ernie, what do you want to contribute to this particular conversation that we're having here?
Look, I'm just happy to be here amongst all these superstars that did something incredible way back when. And kudos to Joel for putting us all together.
Ernie, you put your body on the line too for TWA, so don't sit like you didn't do anything. I seen you get beat senseless by guys that thought it was funny at the time. You know, some of these dudes took liberty, and it's not funny today. Ha ha ha! It was funny then to them guys, you know. But they all got what they're all getting what they got coming to them. Look at Tommy Dreamer; he's falling really hard. Ha ha! Then the other one that tucked his tail and ran like he couldn't do nothing. Mr. Moneybags, Todd Gordon, another one. You know, he just. But anyway, Glenn Osborne, he broke his ass in there, and I'm sure he was promised a whole bunch of stuff. Although Glenn went a lot further than expected, in the sense that he was able to walk away from the ECW stigma and make a name for himself outside of that on the independent circuit and still work. And I think, what are you still working today, Glenn, or are you done?
Yeah, I've been done for a little bit now. It's been I've been like rehabbing, for the last 5 years, and just started walking, I guess, last summer without my cane some. Like I use it sometimes now. I'm mostly off it, but Johnny. I mean, we all know, when you work like, and when you work safe, even, it's just that repetitive stress, boom, boom, over and over. And Joel taught us, and I know from watching you guys, and I mean, I learned I've always been vocal about how much I've learned from everybody here and everyone else that came along. But we were always taught, treat it like a business. And Joel, I remember you saying, bring your book everywhere. Promoters will give you, will offer you dates, and you have to be able to, say yay or nay and all this. Yeah. So to treat it like that, and sometimes you go out and work 4 nights, 5 nights, whatever, in a row, and how to pace and how to work. And I think it's all that stuff that, from you guys right from the beginning, and then rolling through it like that, learning how to put a match together, and call a match, whether you're a babyface or heel. And, you know, that's a sadly lost art, is being able to put a match together, because everything's written for you.
Exactly.
And it's like TV gets you over. So, you know, when you're independents like we were, like having to go out, and sometimes you're in front of crowds that don't know you, and you have to go out night after night and get heat and get them, you know, to believe in you and get over, which is the most important thing that I learned from everybody here. If you're not over, you don't have anything. So,
Exactly.
but yeah, thank you, Johnny, for saying that, because I got out earlier. I left. Paulie was just starting to come in. Eddie Gilbert had a problem with me. I still to this day have no idea what it was. Maybe it was. I don't. So
You have bigger arms than him.
And I'll put a trash can over if it'll help the story. You know, the angle or whatever. But he just had me doing stupid things, and then the last match I had there, he just hit me in the back with a cane. I took a bump, and he put his boot in my chest, and I said, you know what, that's enough. We've all worked too hard, and I was young, and I thought, I'm just going to go out. And but I was lucky in the fact that coming from a high profile like TWA and then ECW, I was able to go out and get with Dennis and Jim Kettner and all these other, great promoters who I was able to work for all those years down Maryland and the Carolinas. And it just, the territories were gone by then, but I wanted to do the closest thing I could, because to me, that's what wrestling was. So, if I could stay on the road 4 or 5 nights a week, even and I would do like a big circuit, that was great for me, And when you get up there, I was actually talking to Tom Brandy about it once before, when I was going up a lot in the mid 90s and late 90s. And it's like, he said, when you get up there and then you see there's nothing for you, it's kind of like, you could have a better life maybe pursuing other things. When you get that close to the big machine, well, you, Johnny and Tony, I mean, you guys know too. And it's like a meat grinder. You don't have a life of your own. I likened it to being in the military. So it was great learning the art of all this, the craft of all this, man. And I had the best teachers in the world. So I'm really excited for this movie, because TWA does not get anywhere near the credit that it deserves.
Not even close.
I would say that even if I wasn't in it, like even if I was just a fan. I have fans, I talk to a lot, and they say that TWA, when they go back and they watch what's available, that's when guys worked. I hear that all the time,
Right.
And it's phenomenal.
Right.
So,
I just want to stop you for 1 minute. We
Yeah,
have
no
the
problem.
boss just joined us, Mike Tartaglia, who's here late. What the heck? Where were you?
What's
happening?
What's happening?
Mike?
You're
My
late.
dementia was kicking
doing,
in. I
Michael?
forgot. My dementia was kicking in. I forgot about it.
Hey, I think I'm older than you, so knock it off with the
You got to
dementia.
remind me.
I did. I just did. I said, where are you?
I can't. I got to put these reading glasses on like Stetson now, because I can't even see the screen.
Listen, these are real glasses. I don't
We
wear
all need
contacts
them.
no more.
No more contacts.
Nah, they're readers.
Nah, not his.
No, these are the
They're
real deal.
ones.
And they're thick, too.
Glenn is the only one without
They're
glasses.
thick, right?
Oh my God, you're right.
Bottle
you're
cap.
the only one.
That
Glenn,
ain't
you're
that
still
bad.
young.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
This
everybody
What's that?
Sunday, be sure I'll poke you in the eyes this Sunday. You'll need glasses, okay?
There you go.
I'll try to do this. I don't know if I'll remember, though.
All right, let's get back to what we were talking about, since Mike came on, and we were talking about, Mike, how the TWA got started and the comparison of the TWA with the ECW, and everybody was telling their parts of how they feel about the comparison and what Joel has or has not done over the years, and the documentary that's going to be coming up this Sunday. And we're trying to invite people to come, and I know you're going to be there. But I think it's important to get everybody's perspective. Mike, I'm going to let you wait for just a second. Joe, I wanted to ask you now, what did it feel like being a referee in the TWA as opposed to other wrestling federations, wrestling groups, wrestling territories, anything that you were in?
Well, I didn't do much other than TWA. I did Eastern. I did some independents, but it was probably the unpredictability with guys like Funk, Abby, Manny. A lot of those matches knew they were going to not have a pinfall or something, but a lot of they didn't tell me anything. They said, well, I remember one time Abby said, when the time's right, you'll know. So,
Wow. How do you run a match like that though? Didn't that scare you or bother you? Like, how do you?
Yeah, I mean,
Abby
I was 19 or 20. I mean, it wasn't scarier than when Johnny covered my eyes when I was driving.
That was great.
But it was pretty close.
That was great.
Oh my God.
I remember Abby.
I'm sorry, Joe.
That's right, man. They were some of the best times, John.
You were listen, man. Joe, you and I, we were tight, man. We had a lot of fun together.
I tell you, you were like Fonzie, and I was Richie Cunningham.
Oh my God. I just want to add something here. I want to say something that I think wrestling fans and the listeners of our show who watch this tonight are forgetting something and not clicking it, because I know if I was just a wrestling fan, I would probably miss it as well. On the screen, and we're trying to get somebody else on here because Donnie Allen just is trying to sign in right now, so I'm trying to find him, but we'll have him here soon. But on this screen, okay, imagine 20, 30, 40 years from now, okay? And on this screen, we have Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, LA Knight,
Will Ospreay.
Will Ospreay, okay? But looking at them on this screen, okay, a few more years older, a little gray hair, some glasses, this is what people don't realize. This is what we're seeing here. We're seeing these people on this screen, these gentlemen, okay, 30, 40 years ago were better than the Roman Reigns and the Seth Rollins and dare I say even Will Ospreay. Okay, but these were the people who made wrestling. They made wrestling what it is. And people who know me know that if I have an opinion and if I think that somebody is smashing it, I'm going to bitch and moan and over again. If anybody knows that, it's Joel. Okay. And I will be honest with you. I think, and Jeannie, all right, shut up. And Jeannie, but I think that it's not right at all that, I could go back and say, well, we were together. We were. Okay. But that has nothing to do with this. I think that what he did was he took something and he put it together. And all of you gentlemen that are here right now in your younger days ripped the whole entire, which I would say today, internet, and it wasn't around then. That would be what you guys would have done. The internet would have completely collapsed. It would have exploded. It would have went viral. And this is what people don't realize. These faces that you're seeing right now, these men, okay, look on YouTube, go to the matches, see what they looked like years ago in their younger times, okay, jumping off of things. Johnny, Tony Stetson, Larry Winters, God bless him, DC Drake, who can't be here tonight. But I'm saying these people jumped off of things, landed on things, hurt themselves for real. It wasn't like it is today where everybody's protected. These men were not protected. They did what they did on their own 90% of the time. And I'm going to stop now, but I had to say that. I wanted to make that clear to everybody that these people that you see now are the stars of what created incredible.
Well, that's why I think, just to add my 2 cents, I agree with everything you just said. Right. But thankfully, the one who kind of got everybody back into it is Bay Radney, Chubby Dudley, because if it wasn't for him starting the petition, and saying that these
yeah.
guys, and he was right. He was absolutely right. And Joel can blame him for starting the one and done thing. But yeah, and who Bay was also a part of it. He was part of the Ringmaster School, and which was a part of TWA, and all of that. And it's Bay will be there on Sunday as well. He couldn't be here tonight, but a lot of credit has to go to Bay for
absolutely
all of this, the documentary and it's Joel, but he kind of had, if he didn't start this all over a year ago, almost 2 years ago,
2 years.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Wow.
Crazy.
If I could say something, like, seriously, like, I know I come across sometimes as a bitter guy, but for real, I'm very, very happy for the opportunity that I was gifted from Mr. Goodhart. I owe him the biggest grit of gratitude. I know publicly I probably never get the chance to say it. So, like, here on YouTube, I want to thank you, Mr. Goodhart, and you, Tony, because if it wasn't for you, Johnny be on that roof busting his ass and never even putting his foot in a Larry Sharp school, because quite truly, you were the man that trained me and gave me the opportunity and led me along and made me famous for a minute. And Joe, for real, thank you, because the matches that you refed, you took a lot of abuse and all that stuff. And I owe you a thank you also. And the same to you, Ernie. You took some beatings, man. And in school, we may have taken some liberties. Thank you. And for real, I thank you personally. You're a good dude, and you deserved better at the time. Johnny Hotbody was a prick, and I'm sorry. And Mike, you too, dude. I'm sorry I scared the shit out of you when you went bald.
And you beat the hell out of me, gave me a black eye. Believe me. Almost damaged my hearing.
The truth of the matter is always,
it's true.
Thank you for that.
Bald, man. He went bald. He definitely did. But
that's right.
Real, bro, thank you for being on the other end of that. Those gifts that you allowed me to give you in the ring. For real, I thank you, for real. And Glenn, man, you always have a personal spot in my heart, because you and I worked together. You were a young dude. You were very inspired by me, which I don't have a clue why. I really don't to this day. But thank you, dude, because, like, seriously, I don't know why you looked up to me, but for real, bro, you're a good dude. I love you.
Oh, same here, Johnny.
And that's
and
all
I'll
I
tell
got
you,
to
man.
say. And I love the TWA and everything that they
100%.
gave me the opportunity to do. Not bitter.
All right, hold on a second. We got another guest.
I can't hear nobody now.
Why? Check your phone. Check your phone.
It sounds a little choppy at sometimes.
Sometimes it does. Okay, everybody, he's going to check his phone. We have Donnie Allen that just got here. Hi, sweetheart.
Yo,
Donnie.
Yeah, there you go.
How you doing?
Ladies and others.
And others.
Whatever.
Okay.
How you guys doing?
We're good. We're doing heavy duty TWA talk. We're doing heavy duty documentary talk. Right now, we're going to hear from the boss. And we've kind of heard from everybody else about things. We're going to hear from Mike, and then we're going to go to you. Mike, tell us how you feel about everything that you're hearing with the TWA and the upcoming documentary and One and Done.
Well, I think it's like about time they did something on the TWA, because everybody always talks about ECW. That's all they talk about. And I'm sure everybody knows I never liked ECW. So if it wasn't for Joel, there never would have been an ECW.
Exactly.
That's very true.
And I thought the ECW was a bunch of drug addict wrestlers, alcoholics. Joel definitely had better people wrestling in the TWA.
And ECW never would have started if it wasn't for him. I never even watched ECW. I went to one show one time. I think maybe with Joe. I'm not sure. I can't even remember. But I only went to one show. I never even watched it on TV ever. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you know, that Todd copied off of, you know, what Joel did, and I think he just got lucky because he had money.
Yeah. Do you also think, like Johnny said, that Paul Heyman kind of like was standing in the back in the wings waiting for Joel to stop doing what he was doing to pick it right up?
Yeah, probably was. Yeah, you know.
It makes sense because that's what Johnny said. Like Paul was there in the background, and it's kind of like as soon as Joel, you know, stepped back, you know, Paul jumped in, and then promised people, as we heard before, Tony Stetson, who's not on right now, you know, said that you'll always have a place with me, and as it turned out, that wasn't true.
I think if Joel was still running, like he would have taken it so much further, you know.
Joe, if you were still running, if you still had the funds and all that to run it, how much further would you have taken it? Would you have gone? I mean, if the opportunity arose, of course, would you have taken it further?
Yeah, well, if I had television, there's no question. Okay, except I'm pretty convinced what we did couldn't be on TV. It couldn't be. It was not designed for camera angles. It wasn't designed for the cameraman. You know, I used to say that one of the goals of the TWA show was everybody had a front row seat at some point during the show. Okay. That doesn't work on television.
No.
Okay. Some of the feuds that we brought in, you know, look, I say this all the time. I wanted to see Adrian Street north of the Mason-Dixon line. I'm probably the only person around here that wanted to see Adrian Street. I figured out a way to get Adrian Street up here. That was the third match on my card. It was Adrian Street against Jimmy Valiant. It cost me a fortune. I had 3 air flights, 2 hotel rooms, a match, the whole 9 yards. But I wanted to see it. That stuff wouldn't work in an organized TV setting. Okay? It just doesn't. Now, I still say what made these shows as strong as they were, it really wasn't Jerry Lawler against Terry Funk. It really wasn't Abdullah Butcher against the Sheik. They were the draw. No, I'm not going to disagree with that. But when I put Johnny Hotbody against Tony Stetson, when I said to Larry Winters and DC Drake, here's Temple University, go have a ball. That's what did it. So my genius, if you want to call it that, was to stay the hell out of the way of the talent that made the show. Okay, and I still say that, yeah, I put it together, and that's fine. But these are the guys that presented the blood and guts. Look, I know all these guys. I know them all. I've had my health issues the last 5 years. These guys have had health issues longer than 5 years. And partly, let me be honest, a lot of these guys have the health issues because of what I said to them to do. Just go have fun. Well, they took it to a level. Johnny Hotbody every morning wakes up thinking about my shows. Because if it wasn't for my shows, he might be basically walking around like a normal human being. Okay? And you had Glenn, who was walking with a cane. I mean, this is hardcore. We beat the living hell out of each other, doing it the smart way, but we took it that stuff does not work on television. So I don't know that I would have gotten it the same distance. Now, I will say this. We had better talent, no question. My talent did what they did with less than all the talent in ECW. New Jack, God bless him, he felt we did that 10 years before New Jack. Okay, so yeah, you got to look at the internet would have killed us. Today on the internet, whatever happens today at 10 o'clock, at 10:01, the whole world knows. Okay, the old territories, they worked in Memphis because what you did in Memphis on Monday night, you didn't do in Evansville on Tuesday night. And then you went to some other city on Wednesday night, it was 30 miles away, and they did the same show over and over again. Okay? They had it down to a science. When we used to go down there, they used to do the Saturday show in Nashville Fairgrounds that was the show the week before at Memphis on Monday night. And there's only 3.5 hours apart, 4 hours apart. So the bottom line is what works today would not have worked 35 years from now. Just don't think, I don't think it would.
Okay, now I have a group question. Today, with the way the wrestlers are trained and the way the wrestlers are protected and the way there's no more kayfabe and all the unreal episodes that are out, and the way the wrestlers practice and practice and practice for big pay-per-views and that kind of thing, and are at the Performance Center for 3 years before they come to the main roster or NXT. How do you feel in comparison? And I know what you're going to say, but I want to hear you say it. In comparison to what it was like when you wrestled to what it is now, because the people today see what they see, and if they see a high flyer, or if they see an acrobatic stunt, or if they see somebody fall, I mean, there are people today like Darby Allin who are completely crazy. But how do you feel about your type of wrestling years ago compared to what you see today on TV?
All right, I'm going to start. I'm going to tell
ahead.
you why I'm going to start.
Go.
Before me and Johnny every time we're getting ready for a match, you know what we said to each other? See you out there. That's it. Most of the time, we didn't know how we were going to start. We went out, we felt the crowd. They don't do that no more. We felt
they don't
the
know
crowd.
how.
And talking about high flyers, the stupidest thing in wrestling, period, is when the guys on the turnbuckle getting ready to jump on 4 or 5 guys and they're just standing there waiting for them.
And their arms are out. They got their arms out already.
How stupid is that?
Yeah.
There's all props. No matter what me and Johnny ever used in matches on each other, we didn't pre-plan it. We didn't know what was out there. We seen something, we used it. Period. Everything we did back then came from our heart. And if you make a mistake, you just keep going. Because you know what? We didn't have to stop and think, oh, what's our next spot? What are we doing next? Wait, no, you just do it. You do it. Besides Johnny, the other guy that was the most easiest guy in the world to work with was Glenn. As big as he was, he laid in the easiest, most gentle. He was the complete opposite of Johnny. Johnny, you felt everything, but that was our decision, because that was our arrangement, because we wailed each other. Glenn was the easiest until some one chair shot not too many years ago. Glenn, you remember that, don't you, Glenn?
Yeah, we saw that on video at Joel's.
Joe, you remember hollering at us? That chair shot at the Flyers skate zone?
Yeah. That was
anyway.
Yeah, I felt bad.
We just did things on the fly. The only one you really had to talk everything through was with Mike, because he was scared to death every time he stepped up.
The first time I wrestled Tony, I remember asking him what we were going to do out there, and he just wouldn't tell me anything. He would not tell me anything. He just kept saying, just go out there. And he threw me in a trash can. He didn't slam me on the concrete. He didn't tell me nothing. I didn't know anything. And the other thing, and when Johnny clotheslined you saw stars. You know what I mean?
Oh, you mean it wasn't?
And he's right about Glenn.
It wasn't fake,
Glenn.
Marks?
Yeah, it was like on the Flintstones. You remember on the Flintstones? When Johnny clotheslined, I'm telling you, you would just see like stars. I mean,
stars all over the place.
But Glenn, though, like as big as he was, he'd be hitting you. You didn't even feel a thing.
Nope.
Thanks,
never.
Man. Thank you. Well, as I said,
Tony and Johnny, though, they're stiff.
Yeah.
I used to get carried away. I'd forget everything everybody wanted to do. I was just excited. I was hyper. I loved to be there. And I just figured wild man style worked better for me. I'm not going to fly around. I'm going to knock your head off your shoulders, kind of like... for real, the old style, Dick the Bruiser or whatever. I think Ivan Putski didn't even wrestle. He just beat the hell out of you.
Yes,
you
Yes,
just do whatever. It's fun, man. It was fun. If you weren't man enough to just go out there and not have a script, you shouldn't be there. I would have never been able to do the Randy Savage style, which he's probably the one that invented that style of documenting every single move, where the camera had to be, because truthfully, if it wasn't for him, the script that he would write to have a match with Ricky the Dragon, the stories, you'll hear them constantly, but it's because of him that the matches all got scripted. And quite seriously, it gives guys like Paulie, who are a low fruit in the locker room, and I do mean fruit, it gives them the opportunity to hang around the guys, be a cock gazer, and still have a job while they're doing it. I'm sorry I say these things. I can't. I don't have a monitor. I speak the truth.
That's all right, as long as it's the truth. Donnie, how do you
In
feel
my
about
head, it is. In my head, it is. So
that's your truth. Donnie,
I have to follow JHB. Okay, that's a tough. that's a tough one.
Tough act to follow, right?
Ask me a question. I'll answer.
Well, how did you feel? One of the questions we asked earlier was, how did you feel about what happened during the matches with Joel? And and we were talking about how Paul Heyman was in the back, always trying to listen and see what was going on. And then when Joel stepped back, he kind of not took over, but stole the spot, exactly, to put it that way. But I mean, how did you feel about what it was like, what happened with Joel and his TWA, and then what happened with the ECW, that transition? How did that affect you? How did you feel about that?
I think Paul was looking for any opportunity. Didn't he had a thing where he was trying to latch on with Crockett? They had some new group that was starting, and that was after we were already at the arena. I think he was an opportunist. So sure, he thought anybody that would have been around the TWA shows would have caught some feels off of that one and said, wait a second, there's something brewing here, there's something building here. Maybe I can tap into that. So I have no doubt, because that's what he does and what he did. So I don't think at the time I had any particular feelings about it. I was too new, too green, and my whole concern was I want to prove to everybody involved that I belong somewhere on these cards and on these events, whether it was wrestling, whether it was managing, whatever it was. That was my focus. And I was in the gym doing cardio and trying to lift and just doing all these things relentlessly, because I thought that was my only shot at my side, is to prove to them that I could hang with whatever they wanted me to do. So the political end of it, I didn't really have too much thought about that I remember anyway.
Okay, I want to bring in a Larry Winters question, because God bless him, the only thing that we're really missing here that we haven't had for so long is Larry Winters. We're missing DC Drake, God bless him. I understand that, but Larry Winters isn't here. So I wanted to know what you guys felt like having him as your booker. I know Joel told me all the time that he and Larry didn't really discuss anything with regard to booking or whatever. He told me that he and Larry could just look at each other's face and they both knew, and Larry knew exactly what he wanted. How was Larry as a booker to you guys?
I could go first if you like. I tagged with him and was tag team champion with Larry. Okay. And Larry, to me, Larry was not a booker. Larry was a friend. He took care of me. He looked out for me. The same way Tony. I never looked at Tony like Tony could have been looked at as a booker too. To me, I mean, quite seriously, he never gave you that impression. He wasn't a bully, and he never thought about himself before the other guy, which is like an Eddie Gilbert or a Paul Heyman. When they're booking, they worry about them. They don't worry about the other guys. They worry about their clique and who's going to make them resonate better with the crowd. It is an opportunist kind of way to be like, he could never be, most guys can't be wrestlers. So they do the next best thing. They get involved as a manager, a voice guy, but a guy like Paulie, who's an opportunist, these guys do these things, and They think of themselves first. But as far as Larry went, not one chance did he ever want to make himself look good. He wanted everyone else to look good because the locker room had enough talent that he believed in that they could carry the show and possibly and definitely give, if anyone, Joel his money's worth and his value, whatever it was that Joel was looking for, he got it because Larry was able to mold the guys the way Joel wanted them, and that's the kind of guy Larry was. I loved him. He was a friend, man. He was one of my best friends, and he sadly missed.
Anybody else?
Yeah, the thing, like Johnny, I also worked against Larry. We tagged together. And truly, if Larry was the booker in the beginning of TWA, just shows how unselfish he was when him and DC were doing their thing, for him to let me and Johnny continue our thing because, it was that same type of thing. That's an unselfish person. Anybody else would have nixed me and Johnny because it was like compared. A lot of times we were compared our feud and their feud. But Larry, the only thing negative I could say about Larry was how cheap he was. But we all know that.
Oh my God.
That's the only negative.
That famous $100 bill. I swear he kept $100 bill that he always had with him, and that's what he used to try to get change off of people.
He whipped it out on me every time we crossed the bridge. He only had 100 for the toll.
Oh, wait a minute. Joel, tell the story, please.
Well, all I can tell you is Larry tried to trick on me, except I made sure I had, as it turned out, 4 20s and 2 10s. Okay. When he brought out the $100, I said, "Fine, here's change," and I got it. I finally got it.
I remember one time I was driving with Larry. He drove 5 miles out of the way to get free air for the tire. He didn't want to pay a quarter.
Oh my God. Jeannie, how do you feel about this, Jeannie? Was that true?
All true. All true. All true.
God bless him. He was, let me tell you something. He
loved to laugh. He loved to make jokes.
Boy, yeah.
When he was telling me the story on how he gave Joe his nickname, I was in tears, crying, laughing. Like, he could tell a story. He could tell a story about Gigolo Joe. He really could.
Oh, tell us the story. How did he get Gigolo Joe?
Joe?
I don't know. I thought it was Johnny and Tony.
I thought Tony named him that.
Yeah.
He had wavy hair. He was good looking and thin. He was a young. He was a stud muffin from what he told us.
I told you the story about when Crybaby Waldo, Slam, took me, Mike, and Gigolo Joe into his strip club in Jersey. I told you what Joe was doing. Didn't I tell you what happened?
No, what happened?
You forget. So here we are. We're sitting. So
is this fact or fiction?
This is fact. I was sitting right next to you.
It was balloons, wasn't it?
What?
No, it was the dollhouse.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Dollhouse.
So
No.
we'll just how are we going to refer to Slam? Just as Waldo.
Crybaby Waldo.
Crybaby Waldo worked here. And we just finished the bar show at Mike Schmidt's. And he said, "I'm going to take you guys over to Jersey. I want to take Gigolo Joe too." So we go there. So we're sitting. He puts us in this wall bench. So it's me. No, I don't know. I was sitting next to Joe, and then Mike was sitting next to him on the other side. So Crybaby brings over the stripper to totally zone in on Joe. So behind the bench was a mirror. So here's this girl with exceptional bosoms, just grinding all over Joe. And this is what Joe's doing the whole time. Not looking at her, turning around in the mirror and fixing his hair. I said, this guy's got to be kidding me. Do you remember that, Joe?
I knew it wasn't going to be there for long. You know?
I said, I can't believe this. And we had a feeling that's what he was going to do. He was so fixated with that hair of his.
Joe, come on, that's not true.
I had wavy hair. And
Mike?
Mike used to say, "Yeah, it's waving goodbye."
Yeah, Mike, wasn't it true?
That was definitely true.
Like Mike should talk.
And then there was a time when we were in Wildwood. I don't know if you were there,
now it's going to
Tony.
be tickling me. Go ahead.
When Waldo was throwing firecrackers at Joe while he was in the shower, he was in the outdoor shower taking
Oh my God.
a shower. And Waldo and another time he got the hose and squirted him through the window.
What? What did he do through the window?
He was squirting him with a hose. When Joe was like unpacking his suitcase, getting all his clothes wet. They tortured Joe.
Yeah, Joe got abused.
Oh my God, Ernie, you've been very quiet here. What do you have to say about all this stuff?
Listen, one of the most amazing things that I've ever seen was that match at McGonigal Hall, where him and Drake were doing what they were doing, and then the DC fell from the railing there.
Yeah, Mizane. Yeah.
That was an amazing event.
That was, I remember hearing about that, and DC, I believe, was saying that I think Larry was worried about that drop.
Yeah.
And he had mentioned something about no, don't do it, but they did it anyway. That's crazy. Jeannie, is that the Gigolo Joe story? I mean, or what? I want to hear that.
Yeah.
That Larry told you.
It was something at the beach, and trying to.
Here we go. He sent Sharon up to hit his wife to hit on me. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's when I got sun poison.
Yeah.
That's when I got sun poison sitting out there for 10 hours.
Yes. And
and then Joe couldn't swim either. And he was holding on to me or Sharon, and we're like, Joe, just stand up. It's 3 feet. The pool was only 3 feet tall. Then he came after me with a big machete because he was pissed because he thought he was going to drown. And he had this big butcher knife, and he was chasing me.
Now, you know that's not
Do you remember that?
You know that's not
No,
true.
that was true. You know it. Admit it.
Machete. Where'd you get a machete, Joe?
That's ludicrous. Yeah, I carry a machete around.
No, that is
with me.
true.
Oh my God, you guys are funny. Let's jump a little bit, if you don't. I'd love to sit here and laugh all night long. That's funny as hell. But let's jump a little bit to this coming Sunday. If I'm not mistaken, you're all going to be at the documentary. How do you feel about seeing yourself again after all these years on a beautifully done? By the way, thank you to Ryan Kavanaugh, because that man's talent is unbelievable. But how do you feel about seeing yourself again after all these years?
We know it's funny. I've been seeing some of the clips he's been posting, and it's like it just brings you back, and it's like, wow, you forget so much stuff. And
yeah,
I can't imagine how incredible this is going to be once would it be all said and done, because just the clips alone is just remarkable.
Yeah,
and well deserved for the TWA. Well deserved. Hats off to Ryan.
Well,
yeah,
I will tell you this. I mean, I have not seen the documentary yet. And I have not seen it. The only clips I see are, quite frankly, what you see on Facebook. All right? Ryan just showed me one little cartoon that's part of the movie, but that's it. So I have no idea what the quality is going to be. What I do know is Ryan is a genius. So Ryan's going to make anything look good. I know the clip of DC Drake falling off the wall at Temple University is in the movie. I do know that. So that clip you'll see. When I'm looking forward to Sunday to see, again, just like all of you, seeing some of this stuff for the first time. Okay? Because I swear on my 3 kids and my grandchild, I have not seen the movie. So I have no idea what I'm walking into. What I do know is if it's half of what we did, it'll be phenomenal.
Yeah.
Well, I know how long it is.
You guys
an hour and a half.
An hour and a half. Okay.
I haven't even seen the clips. I haven't watched the clips at all. I don't. Want
I
to.
have. They're good.
Yeah, I don't want to. I want to wait until I go there, and be excited. You guys have to understand something. This particular documentary is pivotal in the fact that you guys have created history. I mean, you'll be there on Sunday looking at yourselves creating history, which you've already done. You can look back now and you can say, you know, I did this. And in my opinion, anyway, a very great part of where wrestling is today is because of the people that are right here on the screen. And again, like I said earlier, for a couple of the guys that weren't here, looking at you guys now, okay, would be the same thing as looking at very popular wrestlers today, like Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, 30, 40 years from now. And this is what I get. I said people
Only
don't
these
realize.
guys are better. Stop comparing them to the.
No. I'm not comparing them. No. I'm not comparing them skill.
No, I know you're not comparing them.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just giving it as an example.
Right,
But these, you know, you guys, like Tony said, there was very little, if any, conversation. We'll see you in the ring, or you know what's going to happen. Well, you'll see when you get there. Or, you know, it reminds me of some of the stories we told about Andre the Giant, where he just did what he did and that was the end of it. But to know that you guys learned everything that you learned in the ring, and when you guys went in there, you beat the hell out of each other because that was what you did at the time. Whatever came up, whatever you felt like doing at the time is what you did. And it turned out to be phenomenal. I mean, it turned out to be something that is going to be remembered forever. You are going to be a big legacy that you're leaving behind. You're going to be remembered forever on the screen. And I think that is amazing. That is something that you guys should really be proud of yourselves for. And if I was, you know, if that was me, I would suggest that you guys bring your families and let them watch them too, because there's nothing like seeing yourself on a screen and being proud of what you've done. And I give you guys all the homage in the world, because you guys are unbelievable. And even at this age, even now in this day and age, you have no regrets from what I hear and from what I see. You have no regrets, and you would do it all over again. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Even through all the mess, we wouldn't change it. I mean,
Without
Just
question.
well, Tom, we wouldn't let Paulie in the locker room.
What's that?
We wouldn't let Paulie in.
No. I mean, what we've done with each other.
Oh, okay.
They were
Yeah.
just yeah.
So let me ask you, as a group, is there anything at all that you would have changed if you could?
Maybe keep maybe if we would have made a lot more money and kept it going, that might have been the only thing to change.
Okay, anybody else? Would you have changed anything from back then?
Well, I'll kick in my 2 cents.
Go ahead.
Here's what I would have changed. I wouldn't have changed what we did in any way, shape, or form, other than I wish we would have done it longer and more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I take personal responsibility for that failure. That was my bad. These guys gave their bodies, gave their blood, gave their guts to the industry, and the industry never thanked them. Okay? And I accept some of that responsibility. There's no question. Look, I disappeared from the face of the earth for wrestling until Mike Tartaria called me on the phone at the office one day in 2009. I disappeared from 1992 to 2009. It was 17 years. And just like Johnny said, I have never, ever to this day watched one ECW show. I never attended an ECW card at all. And the first time I was in the 2300 arena was for my show on May 3rd of last year. Okay? Now, what's interesting for me is I'll tell you where my failures were. The 2 people running this show, Carmella and Jeannie, never came to one of our shows.
Oh my God.
Oh, excuse me.
And
Excuse no. I went to one.
As much as we did Philadelphia, and we put Philadelphia on the map, those 2 people who live in Jersey never showed up.
Wow.
All right. First of all, I wasn't living in Jersey at the time. Okay.
Same.
That makes it even worse.
Shut up. Secondly, you have to understand, okay, I was going through at the time 2 broken marriages and working 3 jobs
So
for
was
30
I.
years. You didn't work 3 jobs. No, not at all. Don't even try it.
But
I would have, huh?
The 2 divorces, I did it.
Well, yeah, but what about working 3 jobs with 3 kids that you had to take care of?
No.
Okay,
no.
so shut up.
I get you.
All right, so I was at One and Done, and I will be there on Sunday. And I have not. I don't think I've disappointed you since I'm able to do things now that obviously my kids are grown. But I mean, it is what it is, man. But we were just talking about that beforehand, before the show. We were talking about how when you get divorced. And all these guys are going to attack me pretty soon. I know that. But whenever you get divorced, most of the time, the men don't have the children the majority of the time. And the men get to, on the weekends, they have them maybe. And then they get to do whatever they want during the week and, throw a check here and there. And the women.
Unless it's Joe.
Unless it's true. Yeah. And I commend him for that. But the women have their children all the time, day and night, and they don't have any free time. And then if they have bad marriages and all this other stuff, which anybody wants to hear that about me. But anyway, I will be there Sunday, and I'm looking forward to seeing every one of you on Sunday. Jeannie will be there.
It's going to be great to see.
And I did go to one show. It was the first Bar Wars. So I did go to one.
Okay.
Well, Carmela did come to some Skate Zone shows, I remember.
Yes, I did. I did go to Skate Zone.
Yeah, the TWA 2.0.
So be nice, okay? Now, here's the other thing, okay? I don't think, and this is my podcast. I'm the one who's speaking, and I need to say this because, needless to say, everybody knows I can go on forever and talk, but I think true. Shut up. I think that something has to be said to you guys that maybe you haven't heard enough of, okay? And I think that if I had, talk about flowers, but I think that if I had an award, an Academy Award, or even better than that, you would all right here, sitting here, deserve to have one handed to you. Because in my opinion, and I've seen the matches on YouTube, in my opinion, you guys have more than most wrestlers that I've ever met or seen, okay, deserve more recognition for what you've done for the industry, and for what has become the industry today based on what you guys did 40 years ago. And this is one of the main reasons why I wanted to have you guys on the podcast, because people don't understand that. They don't realize that.
Well, if they haven't learned it since One and Done and the banner and all that kind of stuff, then they're idiots, because it's and it was an amazing time, and anybody in the Philadelphia area that was around back then and went to these shows knows it. Well, and this is just a reminder.
Exactly. But I'll tell you, and I was there at One and Done, and the fans that were there, I did not hear not one, a comment other than, oh my God, this is amazing. This is terrific. And me, being involved in wrestling since I was 6 years old, it's now 63 years that I've been involved in wrestling. I couldn't take my eyes off the ring. It was crazy. Like, it was really, and again, I think you guys need to take a little bit of time and think about it. I think you guys need to congratulate yourselves. And I think you need to, I mean, I've seen you guys wrestle. I've seen all of you wrestle. Like Glenn, the first time I saw you, I think was at one of Mike's shows, if I'm not mistaken. But the first time I saw you with the chains and the makeup and, this big, build that you had. And I'm like, oh my God, this guy's good. If I'm not mistaken, okay, and see if you remember this, right when I saw you that first night, I came up to you. And I told you how amazing you looked, and I didn't know anything about you. I didn't know who you were. And I was like, wow, you did a really good job. See, I don't have any shame, so it doesn't matter, and I don't get embarrassed. So I just came over to you, and I was like, wow, like, you really are good. And I don't know if you remember that, but I remember it.
I think so. Yeah. Well, oh my God, thank you. I mean, coming from you. I mean, I remember meeting you ages and ages ago, but yeah, it was. I remember that night. What did you say? Was it Jeannie that said TWA 2.0?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and having Buddy Landell up, that was
Right.
cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we
that's
did
crazy.
that, show, yeah, we had Glenn become champion because Buddy Landell. We brought Buddy back as champion, and he wrestled Glenn, and we had Glenn win the title. So we thought that was something he always deserved.
Oh,
Thank you
please.
again for that. That was great. Thank
Yeah,
you.
he
Really.
deserves a lot. And I want to say something here to Mike as well, because Mike and I have butted heads a couple of times over the years, but I want to say that some of the best cards I've seen were at your shows. And I'm not being facetious. I'm telling the truth. The tournaments that you had, the wrestling that you had, and how many people
Well, that was
had,
ECWA. That was
ECW. Wasn't that yours, ECWA? Yeah.
Yeah, Mike had nothing to do with it.
No, nothing with the ECWA. Come on, stop it.
It was all Joe. It was all Joe.
But I mean, there's so many people that wrestled on your...
I just paid everybody.
Yeah, but I mean, some of those people became very popular over the
They
years.
did, yeah.
Yeah. I remember, again, correct me if I'm wrong, I met Tessa Blanchard at your show.
Yeah.
Yep.
And again, I invited her over to my house for dinner like I do to everybody else. And now look at her, the lady referee, what's her name, Jeannie?
Jessie K.
Jessie K. Yeah.
WWE.
Yeah.
I mean,
Deanna.
Deanna Piazza, yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. It's just crazy. And like I said, people don't know this.
Tommaso Ciampa, he won our first Super 8.
Yeah.
Tommaso, yeah.
I was at that one, yeah. And he went against
Adam Cole.
Adam Cole,
Bryan Danielson. I mean, come on.
That was Mike's time, but yeah.
Yeah, but still, they started in these smaller places and wound up being, like I just heard an interview today, just to say this, with Oba Femi and Stephanie McMahon. And Oba, the only introduction he ever had to wrestling, ever, he didn't even know about wrestling that much except watching some of it on TV, was he went, because of his size and because of his shot putting stuff, he got picked up by the WWE and put right into Performance Center for 3 years. That's all he ever knew about wrestling on a personal level. And then from there, he went to the main roster just because of his size, I believe. But to me, that's not a ride or die way to learn. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's like you came off the street and then somebody said, "Oh God, you look great. Let's go." 3 years you're in this hole, in this room. And then all of a sudden you're like, Oba Femi, but like you guys earned it. You guys learned it and earned it and struggled and fought in the ring. None of this came to any of you in advance. You struggled at little shows. You did your best. You did what you had to do. You fought and fought and fought. And I'm sorry, there's no comparison between that and what's going on today. And I love AEW. I love AEW. But even there's no comparison to what you guys have done. And Joel, most of this has to go to you. I mean, most of this has to go to your vision. I only wish that there was more funding available, that there was TV, that there was more time, that the TWA could have become global. And I think it would have eventually gotten
Well, now he's got the money to do it.
He sure does.
he could start it all over. TWA revived.
Yeah,
Mike, not for nothing, but with the contracts money that these guys are getting today, I don't think Joel's that foolish to invest his money in a bunch of ass clowns that are ungrateful that they've even gotten the opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, like, really, you're doing professional wrestling and you think you're worth a couple $100 million a year? I don't think so.
Right.
No.
I don't give it. I don't even watch it anymore. I'm so sick and tired of the crap.
But
I haven't watched it in years.
No, I have to watch it. But like, if Joel did that again now, Joel, do you think you could do it if everything was at your disposal?
No.
Do you
On
think
a smaller scale, he could do it.
I don't know.
The talent isn't there. I say this all the time. This goes back to the talent. I will tell you, in the last month, I've been out to see Donnie Allen and his band, and it was phenomenal. Beg, Borrow, and Steal was a great little show. It was phenomenal. Then I've been out to Fruity Juice, Mike's place, which is phenomenal. You don't.
Phenomenal.
You got to go to Fruity Juice.
I still got to get there.
I watched the success that these guys are having.
I got food poison there.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, that's because he ate something healthy. His body went into toxic shock.
That's what happened to me.
He's used to eating McDonald's.
The one thing I would tell you
That would
is
happen to me.
what made the TWA was these guys, and they don't exist anymore. So no, I could not repeat what we did because these guys cannot be duplicated. Period. End of story.
I agree.
Hey,
I
listen,
agree
let me
with
just say one thing here.
that. Say whatever you
I was
want,
in
honey.
Europe, in the middle of all the TWA superstardom, and I go to a magazine stand there. And what is the match, the event of the month in that one magazine? The TWA show. Can you believe that?
Wow.
In Portugal, in Europe.
Really?
In a magazine stand there. I still have that magazine somewhere, and I hope I find it.
That's crazy. Joel, you hear that?
Yeah, bring it Sunday if you can find
all
it.
the way in Europe.
Yeah, bring it Sunday,
I'm gonna
Ernie.
look
If
for
you
that. I'm gonna look for
yeah,
that.
if you can. Okay, so let's talk about real quick. Let's talk about
Well, now after the documentary, there's going to be a Q&A. I'm assuming everybody that's here, plus some others, are going to be involved in the
Well,
Q&A.
we don't have anything scripted at all. We're
Yeah.
going to do it like we did our matches.
as
We're going to have a
usual, right?
Q&A depending upon the time. We have to be out of the building by 12, but we should have about a half hour for question and answers. People will ask questions, and the guys will be there. We can give answers. I mean, I certainly don't want to be sitting in a chair and giving 30 minutes worth of answers. That'd be boring as hell. So what I'm hoping is that the fans that come have questions, want to talk to these guys. We're doing this as a fundraiser for the Cauliflower Alley Club. And everybody that comes into the building, there's no admission fee, there's no admission charge whatsoever. But we're asking that everybody walks in the door, throw something into the buckets. And I don't care if it's quarters, nickels, and dimes. I don't care if it's a $20 bill, $5, a $1 bill. Doesn't matter. But I got to tell you, I got Jeannie and Carmel manning those doors, okay? And they're going to beat the living hell out of you if you don't make a contribution, okay?
Hey, that's the truth. Don't laugh, because Jeannie can tell you when I was younger, I picked up my 300-pound ex-husband and gave him a Samoan slam down a whole flight of steps. So yeah, I did that.
That's why you got divorced.
No, that's why my back is bad. No, he ran away, Mike. He ran away. No, but seriously, it's Cauliflower Alley is a very, very good. It's like the best. It's the best wrestling organization for helping people that I've ever heard of. You can go to caulifloweralley.org and join. It's not a problem. It's not expensive, but they go out of their way to help wrestlers and anybody in the wrestling industry that is going on hard times, that is feeling hard times.
They just did a thing, and I know I can announce it because they put it out there, but they just helped Marty Jannetty.
Yeah.
Or I said Jimmy Jannetty. Marty Jannetty.
Right.
With his amputation and his prosthetic and stuff, and he was there for them, and it's just what they do.
Yeah, it's what they do, and even if you're like a referee, an announcer, a promoter, a booker, anybody who's involved in wrestling, it's not just wrestlers. They have done things where they've paid mortgages, they've paid for cell phones, they've paid for food, they've paid for medical expenses, they've paid for family issues. They've done so much, and this is where our good friend, God bless him, God rest his soul, Rich Engling, was a big part of. And that's why we all kind of feel extra close to it, besides the fact that they have done incredible things for the wrestling family, the wrestling world. And in reality, that's what we all are. We're a family. I always believe in family of choice. Sometimes family of choice is better than family of related blood, They say.
I will tell you this, with the Cauliflower Alley Club, I've been a lifetime member for a while. Last year, I was very fortunate. I received the Courage Award, and the guy who presented the Courage Award to me was Rich Engling.
Yeah.
Okay, so back last year, Cactus Jack was there, Abdullah Butcher was there, Rich Engling obviously was there, Tom Pritchard was there. I can go down the list like crazy. It was like an old TWA show. Okay, so please come to the documentary on Sunday. The doors open at 9 sharp. The first 150 people will be allowed in because it only seats 150. Then at 9:30, we plan on starting the movie. It'll run an hour and a half. According to Ryan, it's 90 minutes. We'll get done about 11 o'clock, give or take, and we'll have about a half hour to 45 minutes for question and answer, and then everybody's got to scoot. So I'm looking forward to seeing everybody there. Like I said, I have not seen it. I'll be seeing it for the first time with everybody else. If you come and you do want to pick up one of the one and done videotapes, we're going to have those on a table for sale. If you want to buy one of the books that's still out there in limited quantity left, but still out there, we'll have those available for sale. Long story short, the TWA is back for a moment, and these are the guys that made it, and we're looking forward to seeing everybody on Sunday.
Absolutely. And just in case, I don't know if it was said already, but it's going to be at the Ambler Theater. And if you go on your Google or on your maps, just type in Ambler Theater, and that's how you get the directions. I can't wait. I'm excited as hell to be there. I'm excited as hell to see all of you people there again. For me personally, it's like seeing my family, and that's important to me. Again, like I said, family of choice is the best family you can ever have. And I am grateful to have known all of you. I'm grateful to have been a part of your lives to a point. I am extremely grateful. And I wouldn't rather be anywhere else. Yep. And I'll tell you, like I said before, I don't do anything on Sundays because I go to work on Monday, but I'll tell you, I wouldn't miss this for the world. And that's the honest to God's truth. Thank you everybody for being here. Thank you. Yeah, it is. If anybody wants to have any closing notes to say, please feel free. Now's the time.
Thank you, Joel.
Yes.
Thank you, Joel. Thank you, Carmela. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you guys. Without you,
always
this would have
have.
meant nothing.
And thank
That's
you
right.
guys for
He's right. You guys
bringing it
are
and
the
just making
epitome.
this a
Yeah,
possibility.
you guys did this. You guys are the epitome of everything that is good in the wrestling world. And you deserve any accolades that you can give. And I would also like to have another podcast at some point after Sunday, just to get your feedback on it. And maybe if Joel says it's okay, maybe we can actually, I'm learning, Joel, how to do this. Maybe we can actually show a couple of clips after, if that would be okay. So would you guys be willing to come back again?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, well, with that, we're going to close the show. I want everybody to stay here. We'll all close it together. Thank you. I love you all. I just want you to know I have my own relationship with each one of you, and I have never regretted having my relationship with any of you. I love you all dearly, and you deserve anything good that God has to give you, and that's coming from my heart. That's the truth. Thank you for what you've all done.
Thank you.
It's the truth.
Thank you for having us on.
Anytime.
Yeah,
and thank
great.
you for what you've done for the wrestling industry. And thank you for what people may never understand or may never know, but I know, and Joel knows, and Jeannie knows. And and to me, that's what matters for this podcast. Okay. But you guys are great. God bless you. And we'll see you Sunday. I'm so excited.
See everybody on Sunday.
Awesome.
Can't wait.
All right. Okay. Take care.
Take care.
Okay, everybody. Hang tight.
You guys.
Bye-bye.
Take care.